The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all you dudes and dudettes. Can I have just a little bit more in my ear here, please? I can just barely hear myself. Anyway, it is another wonderful day at the headquarters of Technical Trading and Investing, TFNN.com. And we've got a market that's kind of slightly up, but probably more interesting than anything else is the volume. We've had walked in at this time many times over the last couple of weeks with anywhere from 2.5 to 3 billion shares, 1.8 billion shares today. So we are up 8.5 points on the S&P cash. Volume is light. They've been trying to hold this thing up. Had a little pullback, about an hour ago or something, 4 or 5 points. But we are still a little higher out here. And kind of interesting to see a Friday with light volume once again. Maybe we are back into the old throws. I see a lot of stocks out here that are moving, though, and it's very interesting. I thought we'd probably start seeing some selling into the weekend. Well, I guess we still can, maybe be in the last 30 minutes. But what can you say? Got a few people trying to push some of these dogs up here. But very, very light volume for most of them out here. And a lot of the stocks I have, not any movement at all. I've got some $100 and $150 stocks moving 24 cents today. So not getting a lot of movement in many of these. And kind of seeing, we had some down this morning, a little higher. But certainly not a lot of people coming in, which reminds me about the same kind of pattern we had about 3 weeks ago, which was they'd push it higher and no one wanted to buy after the first opportunity to buy the dip. There was nobody else left. And 1.8 billion shares tells me that we are right back in to the part where there is very light demand compared to the downside we've seen over the last couple of weeks. And we'll see. But anyway, a lot of volume for 2, 3, 4 points for the most part each day when we see volume or them trying to push this market higher out here today. Kind of interesting to see what Monday will bring for us. Maybe we don't get a lot right here. Anyway, as we continue on, it is a wonderful day out here. And, of course, on this day in 2003, the supersonic Concorde jet makes its last commercial passenger flight, traveling at twice the speed of sound from New York City John F. Kennedy International Airport to London's Heathrow Airport on this day in 2003. The British Airways jet carried 100 passengers, including Joan Collins and Christy Brinkley. And I was lucky enough to fly on it twice. One time, I flew on the Concorde. It was a couple of days before the invasion. This is 1991 or 2. When was that? The first Gulf War. The company I was working for bought something from CNN, or CNN bought something from us, and they needed it delivered. So they actually bought 2 seats. One for the device that I had, which was in a big Zero Halliburton briefcase. Just think of the ones that they always show the drug dealers with. The aluminum ones that look pretty badass. And anyway, had to get 2 seats on the Concorde. One for that and one for me. And we zipped on over to France, then caught a second shuttle flight down to Kuwait. And then we rode out in a Jeep, and I literally handed this briefcase to the tech guys behind one of the reporters. And they got back in their Humvee and took off. And that was pretty much it. And then I had to slave it back home on an 8-hour flight back from England after I got back up there. But, of course, I was hightailing it out of Dodge. Anyway, I had to hand it to them. They had to set it up. They had to verify that it worked. It did. And that was the end of that. I had one more time that I got to ride one on the way back. And that was one of these flights from Swiss Air, where they told you to show up 2 hours early. So I showed up 2 hours early. They said the plane wasn't going to take off for 2.5 hours to come back in an hour and a half. I came back in an hour and a half, and the plane had already taken off. And I said, well, I've got to be back for a wedding. So what are you guys going to do? So they actually got me on another flight back to Heathrow, and I took Heathrow back to New York. And I guess they just had an extra seat sitting on the Concorde, and somehow I magically got it. And I think probably because I had a ton of miles, and they basically told me I was going to have to wait for the next day. And I just happened to have the phone number for a Hi Mucky Muck at Delta. And so I called him immediately, and of course, I think it was about, what was it? It was about 5 a.m. his time or something. In Cincinnati, and woke him up, and I think he was none too happy. I said, you know, what's the big deal of then telling me it's delayed and then leaving an hour before you said it was going to? I said, besides making me stick around here for yet another day. So he said, I'll get it handled, and he did. Anyway, when I flew in him, of course, it was in the 90s. I think the first time was, 91, 92, and the second time was 97. Both of the ones I flew in did not have a bulkhead or a door. I was looking at the back of the pilots' heads. And I don't know if all the planes were like that, but someone told me later on that they weren't. I don't know if that was after a 9/11 thing, that maybe they put the bulkheads back in the Concordes. But basically, you went straight up. You had a glass of wine and a couple pieces of cheese. You had about 30 minutes to reflect and look out the window at how, because you flew at about 55,000 feet. You got to look out, and I mean, the world is very curved at that level. And then your nose gets pointed straight at the ground and you go down. And I mean, it's like an elevator that broke. And you land, and that's pretty much it. But I'm glad I was able to survive my flights on the Concorde. Fairly interesting, but more like a roller coaster ride than flying in a plane. But interesting. Of course, in the next few days, we've got a lot of stuff going on. The market is now in forecasting that Dilma, the commie babe down there in Brazil, is going to win the election. And what she's been saying, she's going to do the full commie. So the question is, just how far is she going to go? Is she going to nationalize Petrobras, a lot of those other companies with oil wells outside, to do what she would? Unknown at this time. But if you believe what she says, which I think anytime you get a despot like Hitler that writes down exactly how he wants to kill all the Jews, you probably ought to pay a little of attention to it. And why she's not that far off. She's talking some real Argentina kind of socialism, and the question is just how many things down there in Brazil will she take over, or how much taxes will she levy on them until they no longer want to be in Brazil. But it certainly looks like a populist victory out there, and this is the second time she would have won, except I think now her the equivalent of her parliament has moved that way too, and she'll not have a lot of people restricting what she does. Of course, I look to history on this, and that is 6,000 years of recorded history in socialism. It's failed every time, and it's taken less than 50 years to fail every time. I guess all we have to look at is places like Argentina, or even places like Detroit, to see what socialism brings us. It is a mad, 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 mad market out here. And, of course, we got a lot moving on out here. SodaStream was up earlier. Let's take a quick look at that real quick. and not uncommon to see kind of the bounces that we're out here. If we are watching, let me put my glasses on. We had a nice little bounce back into this gap. Of course, that gap came down on heavy earnings. This so happens that a couple of towns in Florida are going to have a trial, and that trial is with Pepsi. So you'll be able to buy your familiar Diet Pepsi or regular Pepsi from SodaStream, and Pepsi will be on the label, on the table. But you have a nice little Gartley level that almost matches a little gap that's open here, right around that $31, well, a little less than $31 level. And if you were looking to pull the trigger again on SodaStream, or you thought that you wanted to be long this thing, that $30 and, boy, I can't see it from back here. I'm actually a little farther back even than I'm normally. $30.27 to $30.61. And that would set up SodaStream. You could give me a call at 877-927-6648. That's 877-927-6648. Yeah. It's different this time. It's different this time. Somebody making a comment in the Tiger's Den. Anyway, what do we have out here? You know, you've given some of that back. But we'll be able to tell you Tampa is one of those cities where you'll be able to get all the PepsiCo products into your SodaStream. To me, it just seemed like a kind of a hassle. And I know some people have them and love them. I just never really understood it. It looked to me like some kind of fad. When I can go to my local BJ's Wholesale Club and buy a 2-liter bottle for $1.25, is it really worth buying a $100 machine and buying the CO2? Maybe someone can tell me if they really think it's worth it. But to me, it was awful hard. But it is interesting chart out there. Of course, if you've been watching this show this week, we've had some pretty decent gains in the path of least resistance, and for that, we're encouraging more people to check out my newsletter. You can get it for the next 30 days for just $30. If you're a current subscriber, you need to get in on the action today. I think today is the last day for our special on the path of least resistance, my daily newsletter, which has been killing it this year, if I have to toot my own horn. We've had some absolutely huge trades in the volatility index. We've had some other big trades and leveraged moves, and we are hoping for that yet again. I think we've got a fairly interesting setup in this market. And we shall see. Certainly the volume is not saying that we're going incredibly higher. Out at 1960 right now with 1.87 billion shares, we are pushing up on lighter volume. If we look at just about everything, this is where the resistance should be in the market, and we are kind of getting it in a little lighter volume. We'll be back in a minute. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Thinkorswim, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
Andy Hecht's powerful weekly newsletter, the Technomental Commodity Report, has delivered multiple triple-digit winning trades in recent months. And right now's the perfect time to get a full month-long trial to Andy's newsletter with no obligation to pay anything. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you'll lock in the low rate of only $59 a month. Sign up right now for the Technomental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
To reduce your at Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And 1960 on the S&P cash, again, 1.9 billion shares of volume. Kind of interesting, the first hour and a half, maybe. It's been very light since then. Kind of holding up here close to the highs. What are we off? 2 points off the highs at the moment of the day. So could we go back up and tag that? I think so. Or could we sell off? Going to be an interesting close nonetheless. Apparently everybody's starting to pretend or whistling past the graveyard that they don't own one of these stocks that gets pummeled after hours. Of course, we have some of these stocks that are breaking out to higher levels, but I would give you a cautionary tale of warning. Edwards Life Sciences, a nice gap up on earnings today. What's interesting about this? This is the last gap of a three-gap play. And what you end up doing is coming back and filling all those gaps, folks. So while volume's okay today, and well, you know, you wanted what is it? You wanted 860,000 shares. You've got 1.4 million, so you got the volume. But you still have underneath here three gaps to fill. My guess is that we will see these filled in the next 6 months to a year on Edwards Life Sciences. This would be the time to cash out, if there was any time to cash out. We've seen stocks with other three-gap plays come back down the other side, like Tesla somewhat. Amazon's now doing it. Netflix, all those companies had big three-gap plays in them. They've been rather mushy and hard to play. But certainly the three gaps were good enough to tell you that they had hit some highs, and we're going to have some big gaps to fall back into. This one would be one of them, and I have a feeling that we're probably extremely close to a very long-term high on that one. As we look at some of the other stocks out here turning out today with higher prices, AGU popped today 7%. This one's trying to get back up to these highs. Agrium, of course, in the farm business. Nice sign of strength out here. Good size candle. Nice gap up. Gapped up over a gap down. It's higher volume. And Agrium certainly back in there. Needs to get back up to 95.10. And at that point, you need 1.6 million shares. The question is, will it get there, or will the market roll over? My guess is you probably have a pretty good chance of testing that September 23rd high at $95.10. BM. We have BMRN. Beat Q3 consensus estimates by 22 cents, missed on revenues, and below consensus target raised $87. Capital markets. Nice move in this bio-marine pharmaceuticals. Well, you had a high out here on February 27th with 1.6 million shares on with $84.25. It looks like you're probably headed up to that level in these biotechs. Good volume today, certainly 1.8 million shares, but you need to go test that peak with 1.6. The question is, will it have it when it gets up there, or is this just part of a bigger trading range? Now, I have to tell you that of some of these stocks and the energy coming down from the February 27th high to the April 15th low was horrifically huge. When we started back up July 17th and this thing's gone up to this high here, the energy is about a little more than, I'm going to call it a little more than 2/3. So it's a third off that huge move down, and that's what would concern you. I would say that you'd have to, if I'd put a stop on this thing, I wouldn't give it an inch for it to come back, because this probably, even though it's got some energy up here, looks like a swan song to me. Of course, Amazon, as we've talked about, a long-term stock. You just knew what was going to happen to this thing. We are out here testing the previous lows right now that happened on May 9th at 284.38. And, of course, we got down to 284 today, so close enough, certainly into that candle. And, well, is that right? Is that 30 or 00? Okay, so we've tested it with volume, 14 million shares compared to 7 million shares. We're already double the volume, and that means we need to start taking this chart back into seeing the next big level down. As I said, this thing's had some massive three-gap plays. The last one's at $200. That would say that that's where this thing is going to go fill the last of those gaps.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments? Then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock in option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN, and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how EverBank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? EverBank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? EverBank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. EverBank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. EverBank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Well, still pegged at 1960, 1.95 billion shares on the New York Consolidated Tape. And I'm thinking we needed about 3.5 billion at the minimum up in these levels. So maybe you get that Monday. But right now, volume is light. And how many days did we come in here in the last 3 months and had 2.1 billion shares when I started the show? So volume is a little light. Again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can give me a call in the den. I can call in. You can pass a message in the den. And if you're interested, we are and do have the best sell ever on my Path of Least Resistance newsletter. You can go to the front page of TFNN under newsletters and check it out. $30 for 30 days. And I can't promise you anything in the next 30 days. I've been hot as a firecracker. And hopefully these trades that I put on this week are going to look as good as I think they will next week. Anyway, make sure and check that out. Your time's running out. TikTok. TikTok, folks. Did I say TikTok? I said TikTok. So, just tick. Talk. There we go. Anyway, looking at some more stocks out here that are moving. Of course, we're talking about Amazon. That last gap goes down to about $200, and my guess is that that's where it's moving. Everybody a little disappointed about Amazon, and of course the rampant spending that goes on and on and on. Ford, we've been talking about the automotive sector heading down for probably 3 to 6 months on this show. And the reason was we just couldn't see that they were going to get that many more customers, especially with the kind of ludicrous financing that got us in the housing bubble, also happening in the car business. Of course, they came out with numbers not so bad. Forecast really looks kind of poor. And basically reaffirmed that guidance. Didn't change it, and that's kind of what we're seeing in Ford out here. But we talked about it making a top a couple months ago, and it's been pretty easy to see that that was it. When we look at other stocks of big movers and losers, if you've been reading my Path of Least Resistance, if you've been reading my Tech Insider, you would have known how much I hated the streaming music business. I don't know how anybody, including the artist, is ever going to make a dime on it. We were short the Pandora and made some bucks on it, but it continues to not disappoint me anyway. Probably investing investors out here that think it's some kind of a great deal. Blowing through the April 28th lows at $21.47 with more volume already today, and it's going to get more. That opens up the door. You've got a couple of gaps down here. My guess is that right now, the way this company's set up, it's a $10 stock. And I think it's going to come all the way back down to the IPO levels to give you that. But I know a lot of people thought that Apple was going to get big in streaming music and find some way beyond all scope of ways to make money. I just don't see it. I don't know how anybody's going to make a dime in this theater. Now Pandora had the same problem, which is Netflix had, and that is eventually you saturate your marketplace and there just isn't the growth that you were looking for. You have to pay a great deal more for that growth, and of course that comes out of earnings, and that's what everybody is giving the big raspberry to Pandora Media. I'm a big Spotify fan. I love the service, just like Amazon. I love the service. Doesn't matter. If it doesn't make money, it's going down. This market is not participating with these things that people dislike. GoPro. We're seeing all these very speculative names out here really take it on the chin. Now, GoPro had a fairly decent double top out here. No reason to short this thing because, of course, I think you have to pay a 25 to 50% premium to get this thing short. I don't know if anybody did it. But certainly this thing is headed down with a volume today. And the next low out here is the October 15th low at 68.34 from last week in the depths of the pullback. Certainly looks like we're going to go attack that one. We're already into the candle already, and that opens up lower prices again. I think I brought this up on Tom's show before, or my show too, and that is GoPro has a huge lockup period expiring, I think, 2 days before Christmas. And this one you could just see the writing on the wall, long on the hype of being a media company and not being a consumer electronics company. Is it different this time? No, it is not. See if there's anything else out here I wanted to look at. CLAC was much higher after hours. Let's take a quick look at that. I think it's given some of that back. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, it's kind of not just a dragonfly. This thing kind of a tiny spinning top kind of doji out here today. Up on fairly big volume, could not hold the highs that we saw after hours last night. Got up to $78.63 today, so that would be it. What else do we have? Wanted to get into some of the other stocks. I think we've got some time here. We've been on the theme of looking at confluence levels to see where these stocks would start pulling back to, and we've got a few of these things to look at. But these are fairly decent examples, and what I'm trying to get through for people that haven't seen a lot of these, especially in markets where they're doing ABCs, is just how well these things start lining up when you use multiple Fibonacci's. They are much better than a single Fibonacci's. Of course, if you're just listening to this program for the first time today, you may go back to earlier in the week in the archives and watch the rest of these shows. But Confluence is two different Fibonacci retracement levels, one from the 382, the other from the 618. And we looked at the ratios between numbers and why and how all numbers work this way, not just Fibonacci numbers. Any number sequence really operates that way, and I think that was Monday's show. But it really tells you that the ratios that always are out here in the world of numbers work fairly well also in trading. So if we look between the 382 retracement of one Fibonacci move to the 618 of the next one, what you end up with is an extremely narrow trading range in Timken Steel, TMST. This thing bounced off its lows, has not really penetrated this high volume low on October 13th, so you'd assume that it would. It's gone up right up here to what should be extremely difficult resistance. This resistance level just under what is it? $41.32 to $41.09. Got to 41.34, and now it's tucked right back under it. That's exactly what you're looking for in these Confluence trades if you want to short or go long if we were looking at the other way. You always just want to buy it on the opposite or sell it on the opposite side once it's confirmed back into the trading range, and you don't want it to go any higher on the other side. So it's one of these things where you get the risk reward down to something like 10 or 15 to 1. They can be very decent trades. You may lose out on 2 or 3 of them, but you're going to clean up on the 4th one, and of course you've lost so little on those trades. It is nice. Another one that's setting up this way is T. Rowe Price. I think this one is a this one, if you look at this one, what you want to do is the focus number is what we call the focus number is the number that is the same for both Fibonacci moves. The October 15th low of 71.78 on T. Rowe Price is what you'd want to be looking at. The first A point would be August 27th at $81.56. The second A point would be your July 3rd high at $84.74. What does that give you? A fairly narrow range from about 70, what is that, 77.14 to 77.82. I'm sitting back about 5 feet from these monitors, so it is kind of tough to see. I almost need to get a telescope. Anyway, when we look at these, this thing's just gone above it, and it's right in it. This would, if you were playing the bounce, this is exactly where you'd be getting out. If you thought, hey, this is it, I'm going to play for the bounce, this would be perfect. You'd have a sweet trade out here, you'd take your cash, and you'd run like hell. Because maybe we're going higher, but that stock probably still going to work out. Now, I'm going to show you the Toro Company as another good example, and another way in the way you should be looking for which fibs to use. If one or two of these things are real close, you use the one that is higher. And in this case, our focus number would be the October 15th low at 55.77. Our first A point would be August 25th at 63.19. The next one would be the high up here on March 11th. Now, some people will say, well, why don't you use the one from June 9th? I'm going to just tell you experience. If there's only like a % difference between two levels, take the bigger, longer time frame one, and that is the way that you want to figure out these things. Again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. But certainly a very decent and tight range out here on the Toro Company. Again, this is how pretty much the entire market is setting up. We're going to go to Roger in Mount Vernon. How you doing today, Roger?
Pretty good, I guess. It's Friday. What can I say, you know?
I get 2 days off. That's right.
Hey, absolutely. I wonder if you could take a look at Alibaba for me.
Okay. It's been out for a very short amount of time. What are you thinking?
Well, I jumped in it this morning, and 97.72, and it looks like it's trading at 97.23. But it looks like it's got a little strength there. I don't know what you're thinking. Just probably it depends on what the market does. To
a little extent it does. But remember, this thing just came off an IPO. They almost gave none to retail investors. There's not a lot of float in this. The only people buying and selling this are pretty much the big boys, and they can buy one day and sell the next and keep this thing up. And most of the lockup periods on Alibaba go out to a year. So I could see this thing trading in this range for a whole year before you actually see any shares hit the market and actually see what's going on this. The other thing is that, just so you know, it doesn't matter right now, but when you do need to know that when the other 70% of the shares that haven't even been issued to anybody yet hit the market, those will always be hanging out there. I think it's actually 72% of the shares. I think they only had 28% in the float.
Right.
So you have to really watch that. But for whatever this company is, realize that the amount of shares printed out there far dwarfs what's available today, and 95% of those are locked up that are available are locked up until, 9 months from now or 10 months from now or whatever. Yeah. So I think there's a first tranche that the owner gets to sell at 6 months, but it's not that big. And the huge amount come in a year, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to go look at that again this weekend. But, to me, to have a market, you really need to have the shares on there. And to play it, you've got to have some history. I have neither. So I'm going to say this is a roll of the dice.
Great.
Okay.
I hope it's not snake eyes.
You just never know. To me, it would be more. There's a line in Jesse Livermore's book where he talks about when he learned the difference between gambling and intelligent speculation. And to me, it was a great deal was I have to have an abiding belief in which way this thing's going, and not just dependent on a couple of guys on whether they buy or sell. I've got to have an open market of people. Wyckoff called it the composite man, i.e. that there's a big enough sample size out there, and I just don't see that. This is too driven by a very few amount of people at this moment, and that's where I normally stay out of those stocks.
Okay.
So can you make money? Yes. Can you lose money? Yes. I have no idea. I want to see a stock trade for a while. I want to see enough shares available and everybody that can sell them, able to sell them. And then I've got some idea. It's like asking 5 people who's president. You need to ask about 1,500, and then you're probably still going to be plus or minus 5% off. There's just not enough people out here. Thanks for the call, Roger.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
We'll be back in a moment. You can be like Roger. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders, take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And one last, remember, TikTok. You're running out. If you want to check out my daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, go to the front page of TFNN.com under newsletters and check it out. $30 for 30 days, the best price we've ever had. And if you're a current subscriber, the best price for resubscribing. And what else do we have going? Oh, we wanted to get and look at a few more of these confluence levels. This is the time to learn about confluence. If you've not bought Tom O'Brien's book, The Art of Timing the Trade, you should get it and read the part about confluence levels. They are nothing more than putting two different confluence levels, or two different Fibonacci retracement levels together. And I wanted to show you something, and that is that when you have two highs that are very close, just like we showed the previous one, you want to use the one that's the slightly higher with a longer time frame. In this case, our focus number would be this July 30th low on United Natural Foods. UNFI is the symbol on this one. You've got it down here at $58.04 on July 30th. So your first A point ends up being the April 23rd high at $70.46. Your next A point becomes the March 11th high at $79.64. And what does that set up? A beautiful little confluence level of just a few pennies at this price point. And again, what is it, about $66? Very narrow out here. Now, guess what? I love it when this comes together. Not only do you have that, but you've got a nice little gap down with heavy volume. That volume at that point when it gapped down was, what was it, 1.65 million shares. You come into it with 1.7 million shares on October 17th, and you start pulling back. So the volume was about the same. That's going to be pretty much where it is, and especially when you have multiple clues out here pointing at the exact same price, your odds go up dramatically. I said in my newsletter on Monday that a lot of people like to look at Fibonacci numbers as DNA in court, and that is, well, the DNA's there, he's got to be guilty. Well, we don't get that kind of luxury in the stock market. It may be an eyewitness with Fibonacci numbers, but we always have to put it together. If you have three people that have never met each other from three different corners that watched the accident and they all say the same thing, my guess is that you probably ought to pay attention to it. It is rare that you get 10 things, but you'll get 2 or 3 or 4 different indicators out here. In this case, the heavy gap down, the move to try to get back into it. Let's see. Yeah, 1.65 billion shares. And what did we get here the last few days? 515,000, 563, 374,000, 526,000, 639,000 today, 166,000. This thing's kind of pulling back. But again, if you were going along on any of these moves and the completion of these ABC downs, you basically completed your 1 to 618. This stock is going to do something else from this last ABC. You've got confluence there, and you've got a gap. Well, I'm a hanging judge, and I'm telling you that if you didn't sell at 66, you're nuts. Anyway, we're going to be back in the 4 o'clock hour with Tom O'Brien. We'll be talking technology. We'll be talking technology earnings and having a good time. Remember to sell when you can, not when you have to. Catch me the same bat channel, same bat time on Monday at 2. Channel 14, Tiger TV.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.